Hey there everybody, I'm Pete Burak and welcome to Cathlist. Many people picture a missionary as a middle-aged man wearing khakis who leaves his job in America to evangelize and build churches in Africa. And while that happens, it's a little bit of a simplistic view. Today, African Christians reach out to Muslims in the Middle East. College students spend their summer teaching English in Asia. A family in America befriends and witnesses to international students. A truck driver responds to an international disaster, meeting both physical and spiritual needs. All of these are types of missionaries, and you can be a missionary by donating to ID 916 or Ave Maria Radio. Not really joking. Missionaries can't really be stereotyped, but they each have a call. God calls them to set aside personal ambitions in order to be witnesses of the gospel. And there have been many great missionaries who left what they knew and ventured out into the world to share the good news. Let's begin with our very own Mother Angelica. By very own, I mean EWTN's very own, and since Ave Maria Radio is an EWTN affiliate and Cathlist is an Ave Maria Radio show, not so much on the radio, well, you know what? Let's just move on. Mother Angelica, what a story she has. She was the founder of EWTN and was born Rita Antoinette Rizzo on April 23, 1920. Her father abandoned her mother and 4 brothers, and she was raised in her grandparents' home. Rita found support in her local church, where her mom helped run frequent Italian festivals. And it was at one of these festivals where Rita first appeared on stage. Her pastor was brutally murdered by the local Sicilian mob after moving the site of the church to get away from the rampant crime in the area, including the mob, which was hiding drugs on the church grounds. Holy wow. Rita suffered from frequent abdominal pains for years, but after praying a 9-day novena prayer for healing, she woke up cured. This miraculous healing had a profound effect on her faith, and she went on to join an order of contemplative nuns when she was 21. Now named Sister Angelica, she felt called to found an order in the American South to appeal to African American women to join the contemplative life. She founded the now famous Our Lady of the Angels Monastery in Irondale, Alabama in 1962. Her most significant missionary impact came after a visit to a Chicago-based Baptist television station in 1981. After seeing the relatively small studio and crew using the power of the cameras to reach a wide audience, she famously declared, "Lordy, I gotta have one of these." Or, "Lord, I gotta have one of these." She went on to found Eternal Word Television Network, EWTN, and used her programming to speak to traditional Catholic teachings and values.
If I'm going to hell, it's not going to be over a peanut.
Her self-deprecation and old-school style earned her a wide following, though she was critical of political and religious progressives. Her impact was vast and significant with EWTN, now reaching 264 million households around the world. Mother Angelica died on March 27, 2016, Easter Sunday, at the age of 92. And she, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the 5 missionaries we'll be talking about today. So, stick around. Father Matteo Ricci was born in Italy in October 1552 and entered the Society of Jesus in 1577. In 1582, Ricci left Italy and ended up in Macau, a Portuguese trading post in the South China Sea. A vastly different culture than what he was used to. He studied the Chinese language and customs there, and he became one of the first Western scholars to master Chinese script and classical Chinese. He was a skilled mathematician and cartographer, and his map of the world in Chinese characters first introduced the findings of European explorations to East Asia. At the invitation of Wang Pan, the governor of Zhaoqing, Ricci moved there and lived in Zhaoqing for 6 years, until the new guy kicked him out. In 1601, Ricci was the first Westerner to enter the Forbidden City when he was invited to become an advisor to the imperial court of the Wanli Emperor. This honor was in recognition of Ricci's scientific abilities, but chiefly his prediction of solar eclipses, which were significant events in the Chinese world. He never met the emperor, but was given free access to the city and a generous stipend. Ricci died on May 11, 1610. By the code of the Ming Dynasty, foreigners had to be buried back in the post of Macau, but a fellow missionary's request for a burial plot in Beijing was granted, and the emperor designated a Buddhist temple for the purpose. Over time, Many other missionaries were buried there, and the place became known as the Salon Cemetery, the first Christian cemetery in Beijing. Saint René Goupil, another Jesuit, was born on May 15, 1608. He was a French lay missionary, and shortly before his death, he became a lay brother of the Society of Jesus. He was the first of the 3 North American martyrs. Goupil volunteered to serve as a lay missionary working to assist the Jesuit fathers, and in 1640, he arrived in New France, now Canada. Oh, Canada! For 2 years, he served at the St. Joseph Distillery Mission near Quebec, where he cared for the sick and wounded, primarily dressing wounds and bloodletting. That sounds delightful. After that, Goupil traveled to the Huron missions with about 40 others, including several Huron chiefs and Jesuit Father Isaac Jogues. They were captured by the Mohawk tribe, taken to their easternmost village of Assurnanan, and tortured. Goupil was killed on the 29th of September, 1642, by several blows to the head with a tomahawk, but not before teaching the native children the sign of the cross. Before being martyred, he had professed religious vows as a Jesuit lay brother before Father Jogues, and many of the 24 Huron accompanying Goupil were baptized Catholic converts. Traditional enemies of the Mohawk, they were slowly tortured in accordance with the Iroquois ritual before being killed. Goupil is venerated as the first Jesuit martyr of Canada and one of the 3 martyrs of the territory of the present United States. He was canonized on June 29, 1930 by Pope Pius XI, along with the other Canadian martyrs or North American martyrs. He is the patron saint of anesthetists. Venerable Henriette Delille of New Orleans was born in 1813 to a French father and a free woman of color. Officially classified as Creole, Henriette was permitted to be educated. As an adult, she became an outspoken opponent of plaçage, a recognized extra-legal system in French and Spanish slave colonies of North America, by which ethnic European men entered common law marriages with non-Europeans of African, Native American, or mixed-race descent. If the woman was a slave, the man sometimes freed her and any children they had together. These men were typically young and would marry white women once they had established careers and stable finances. Some men maintained their plaçage relationships even after their marriages. Plaçage was the kind of relationship Henriette's parents were in when she was born, and she believed it was a violation of the Catholic sacrament of marriage. You think? And she resisted her mother's efforts to be pushed into one. In 1836, Henriette founded a small order of nuns called the Sisters of the Presentation. Later renamed the Sisters of the Holy Family, it became an officially recognized order and is still active today. The original members consisted of Delille, 7 other young Creole women, and a young French woman. Their missionary work consisted of caring for the sick, helping the poor, providing education to free and slave children and adults. Educating slaves was illegal, and educating free blacks was discouraged at that time, but Henriette's order worked in defiance of these standards. Henriette also regularly sponsored mixed-race babies at baptisms in local churches. Her order opened America's first Catholic home for the elderly, taking in women who needed full-time care. Wow, I had no idea. Sadly, her activities and associations with the black and Creole communities estranged her from her brother, who tried to pass himself off as a white dude due to his light skin. He felt her activities exposed their African ancestry to his white business associates, and so he disavowed her, but she continued her work anyway. Henriette died in 1862. She was 49 years old. She was declared venerable on March 27, 2010 by Pope Benedict XVI and could be the first African-American woman canonized. That would be pretty cool. And finally for now, Sister Maria Selena Sanchez, a Spanish Franciscan sister who served as a missionary to Kashmir. Like the sweater? She was born Joaquina de Z. Sanchez on July 13, 1918 in the village of Sandica, a town in Basque Country in northern Spain. She was one of 17 children. I don't know why I sang that, but 17! Whoa! God bless her mother. And father, for goodness sakes. You know what? He had to raise them too, unless he's not around. I haven't read the rest of the script. Does she have both parents? While she was still an infant, her parents entrusted her upbringing to the religious order, the Daughters of the Cross, and at 11 years old, she began boarding in the teaching college run by another order of nuns called the Sisters of the Company of Mary, Our Lady, where she volunteered until the end of her studies at the Missionary Center of Bilbao. At the age of 18, she thought of becoming a Carmelite nun, but was unable to because the Spanish Civil War was raging. She then began to work as a nurse in Bilbao, northern Spain, but in May 1937, she was sent to exile in southern France with her family because of the war. While there, she decided to become a Franciscan missionary, but was unable to join until 1940 after her family returned to Spain. She studied religious formation and nursing for years, and after her profession of vows was sent overseas with 44 other Spanish Franciscan missionaries of Mary. They arrived in Baramulla, Kashmir on August 9, 1947, and began providing healthcare to the local people while studying English, Urdu, and Kashmir. She was excellent at all of this and was quickly appointed as the assistant superior. Shortly after their arrival, the sisters found themselves in the middle of the Kashmir conflict. India and Pakistan wanted possession of Kashmir because of its strategic location. Pakistan invaded the region despite the existing neutrality pact, and the sisters' missionary compound became a sanctuary for the refugees fleeing the violence. Native tribesmen took advantage of the situation and began sowing terror and death among the Indian population, destroying everything. Baramulla was attacked, the convent and the church looted. Then they moved to the hospital and began to destroy everything inside. They forcibly took the Mother Superior's eyeglasses, ring, and veil. Sanchez protested, and the mercenaries moved to kill them. Sanchez put herself in front of the Superior to defend her and received 3 bullet wounds. The shots hit her in the lung, abdomen, and leg. The mercenaries then dragged her to a room in the hospital that had already been sacked. While the mercenaries prepared to kill the others, Major Sarab Hayat Khan, an officer in the Pakistani army, arrived and issued a counter order. This official had been educated in a Catholic college led by the Presentation Sisters in another town. And when he saw what he considered a great mistake, he asked pardon of the sisters. Sister Maria Teresalina's wounds were very serious, and it was not possible to save her, and she endured a long agony of 10 hours. And her last words were, "It is already ended. I offer my life for the conversion of Kashmir." 2 days later, she received Christian burial in a grave dug in the convent garden with no coffin. Well, there you have it. 5 amazing missionaries that truly made a difference in bringing the good news to people who would never have known. These missionaries left their family and friends to spread the gospel to others, and in doing so, brought many people to God. Thank God for them. And that is all the time we have for now, folks. Thank you so much for watching Cathlist. Please subscribe to this channel and check out the links in the description below. We'll see you next week. God bless. Hi, y'all. It's so nice of you to be with us.
Okay.
We just got a lovely show for you today. Ooh, I can smell my coffee. Oh, it smells good. So good. Scott, you don't drink coffee?
No, sir.
That is so amazing. What do? Cocaine? She studied religious formation and nursing for years, and after her profession of cows, no. Sister Maria Teresalina